Welcome to the Rabia and Sana show. We're two Desi girls reinventing cultural norms with love to make difficult conversations easier to help you take courageous steps faster.
Whether you feel like a misfit now or have been breaking the standards, this podcast is for you, for the adults, the young. Come as you be and become your authentic self as you desire. Let's go reinvent some cultural norms together.
Hello everyone, I am Rabia Paracha. I have been a rebel without a cause for most of my life until I discovered my purpose to empower women to empower themselves. And that led me down a rabbit hole to become a life coach from CTI Coactive Coaching. And today I'm a mind and life power coach who helps people break free of their limiting cultural beliefs to find the life they love and the love of their life.
Hello everyone, I am Sana. I am from New Jersey, a Pakistani American. Professionally, I work in the clinical research field. And personally, I have always had this purpose of empowering women of South Asian culture to be able to live the life that they want to live and be true to themselves instead of what the culture expects them to be. And so here I am pursuing that purpose, and I am also studying to become a life coach. Let's get started.
Hello, amazing souls. Welcome to another episode of the Rabia and Sana podcast, where we reinvent cultural norms to elevate your mental, emotional, and professional well-being. I'm Rabia Paracha.
And I'm Sana Shah. Hello, everyone. Today we have Awais Surahyo on our show, and Awais has led a path which sometimes people in our culture may think of as unconventional. So we are going to dive deeper into that and really looking forward to this conversation. Welcome, Awais. It's so good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. Highly appreciated, Rabia and Sana. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, so Awais, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself for our audience?
Yes, so currently I'm in real estate, but before real estate, I had a privilege to live in different countries. Thanks to my dad, he moved quite a bit, which I believe was a privilege. At the same time, while I'm moving, I finished my education in US, and then I've lived a few years in Dubai where I did my MBA. Finally, I settled in a beautiful city, Mississauga, in Canada. That's home for now last 20 years. I've always been in financial background, where I was again privileged to learn about insurance, investment, and banking industry. And finally, I settled in real estate. Always wanted to do something my own, being self-employed. And thankfully, it's been close to 10 years now, and I'm enjoying the real estate world.
That sounds super exciting to have traveled all over the world, having a new, fresh look at everything. So it seems like you've broken some cultural expectations. And I'm very curious to know, when you're breaking these cultural expectations, how do you define stereotypes from your personal experience? And why do you think it's important to explore things like real estate versus banking?
It's actually a very good question, and I think being part of our culture, you understand when we grow up, and when sometimes I think about it, it's not only our culture and a lot of other cultures. I think stability is one thing people want, right? And when we also, or I should say, I grew up, it was always about you need to focus on education, and then get out there, get a job, and that's how life will be settled, and that's what you do. So that's what you a lot of times hear, and a lot of other families, it's a similar concept. And every time I hear this, I always used to think, like, why? Why am I only focusing on this aspect? Why not, hey, follow your passion or follow something different, right? Go to school, learn, but at the same time, follow your passion, something you love to do. And that's where I feel stereotype is mostly, I won't say it's untrue belief. That is also an official definition, but it's, I think, unfair belief as well in our culture, where something happens and then it follows family to family or generation to generation. And I always, when I heard that, I always wanted to do something my own. It was in back of my head that I have to do something my own. I should stand on my feet. I should do what I like to do. So that's, I think, briefly I can say when I hear that. And then when you look at other cultures, I think one part of stereotype is stability. A lot of us feel comfortable to just get a job and just stay in a job. Salary is coming every 2 weeks or a month. And we don't think in terms of following our passion, or it seems hard to follow our passion. So yeah, that's what I hope I can explain it better.
Right. What I'm hearing from you is that one is the stereotype or the typical way of doing things that is comfortable within societies and cultures, especially our South Asian culture. And then the other thing is having this growth mindset where you are thinking beyond the normal pathways that you've been traditionally taught about. So I think that's a really key point that I just wanted to highlight, that you have chosen to break free of those cultural expectations and sort of tread into a path that may not be welcomed at first.
Yeah, definitely. It was not welcomed, even close to me. People said, "Why are you leaving the job?" And I was doing well. My last position was senior branch manager. So, being a senior branch manager, I had a large branch, I had a stable job, and I was earning a very nice package. So a lot of people, even close to me, or most other people said, "Why are you, why are you doing this?" But as I said, I had a belief inside me, and maybe it happened because of all these stereotypes, or maybe it happened because people keep on telling you we are not businessmen, or we cannot do this and we shouldn't do it. I always wanted to make it successful. I always knew that we can do something different, follow my passion. um, and I'm not doing real estate because it's just I like real estate. That is one aspect of it. I was always a people's person. When I was in university, um, when we went to school, it was all IT, right? I'm sure you know Y2K and all that. The IT boom happened. So we all went into a lot of my friends, when I say we, from Middle East, we went to US in terms of getting management information system, and I loved it. I was a technician in IT, but that was not something I wanted to pursue. I was a people's person. I used to connect with a lot of people. I became part of cabinet member. I did a lot of cultural events. So that's where I had a sense of uh, uh, within me, like connecting with people. And that's how I moved slowly towards, sales, financial sales. And that's how real estate also came into the picture. But as you said, the important thing was breaking the norm that I can do something else. I can believe in myself. I can be successful as an entrepreneur. I don't have to stay 9 to 5 job and what people say, just get education, get into a job world. So yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, believing in yourself to do something that is scary, unknown, what's going to happen. It may fail, like the fear part of that is very real as well.
Yeah.
And you talked about stability, how in our culture we are raised to know about stability and security. But you from a male perspective, right? Because I have also seen this so much as a female, but I think from a male, there's additional probably stereotypes that you
Yeah.
feel in our Desi culture,
Yeah.
right? So can you speak a little bit to those additional stereotypes as a male that you had, and
Yeah.
how did you navigate it? How did you break through, and what did you do? We're very interested to hear.
No, again, that is an interesting point. As a Asian culture or South Asian culture, I would say there's a lot of pressure on men in our community, and in our culture. I would say that a lot of dependence comes on men for some reason. Um, they have to go get a job. They have to support the family. So there's a lot of pressure in terms of, being head of the family. So I think things are changing recently, and that is a good way. I believe men and women both have to get educated. Both are important for the family. It's not only men. And I think by leaving our home country, Pakistan, getting into Middle East and now North America, um, I, as a person, if I just talk about me, I think I was able to connect with my parents and family, and with time, able to explain that it doesn't have to be just pressure on a male or female. It's just, I think, important that as a family, we understand, we respect each other, and we help each other together, right? And the good thing is, as we moved on, it helped us in a similar way. For example, I'll just give you an example. When we came to Canada, um, as you know, all the immigrants come, everybody trying to settle down. It's not easy. But the first property I bought was with my siblings. It was not my parents. So that shows it doesn't have to be only male, but female both can come together, purchase a property, or we can do something together. So um, I think in your family, it's very important that we not only talk about it, but also show as an example. As I said, when I started entrepreneurship, my wife supported me. I think she was one of few people who supported me, that when will you do it, like at age 65, or you want to do it now? And other people close to me said, no, it's wrong. But thankfully now you can see it's been 10 years. They understand that, hey, it's working out. You are doing well. I have my own brokerage. So thankfully, as I said, with time, that stereotype I was able to break. I can talk to a lot of families now, and I can tell them it doesn't have to be only pressure on the men. Women can also do it. Both need to be educated, because otherwise it gets very hard when your education is not part of it. Experience come with time, and both are important, but education for male and female both are important, and they should be working towards it to make society better place to live in, right?
Right. And, just to that point, I think traditionally, as a son in our culture, we have these pre understood,
Yeah.
silent understandings that the man is the breadwinner of the family. He's the authoritative figure in that family. And what I'm hearing from you is that no, we need to change things because it's a family unit. Because I'm sure as the breadwinner of a family, what pressure is going to be put on that male or that father
Yeah.
figure or that brother to do that. So was there any backlash from your family when you said you had a good communication with them, but did you receive any backlash or any sort of resistance from anyone in the culture? Like you were saying, there were people, your wife supported you. Who gave you the backlash, and how did you overcome it for our listeners? Because that's what people need, sort of that support with.
No, and I'm being honest. I think except her, most of them gave me backlash. Even my dad said, like leaving. I mean, I think everybody understands. Like leaving a branch manager, it is a prestige position. It's a prestige job, and being a large branch, anybody can understand. I was almost 50 people under me, including partners in the branch. So backlash came from everyone, including my dad said this won't work, etc., etc. A lot of people in the community, right? Oh, you're starting real estate. And being in Ontario, there's a lot of realtors. The number of realtors is quite high. So people understand that it's just people do it on side, or you want to be part-time realtor. I said, no, I'm full-time realtor, like literally full-time, right? And I just jumped in. And I mean, starting from first year, I started doing well. Like I worked hard. I mean, I was not shy of going out, talking to people, door knock or anything, because I wanted to work hard. I didn't go to family or friends, give me business. I just went out there and got the business, right? So, but coming back to your question, the backlash came from my family to relatives. Everybody was concerned, why am I doing this? And sometimes it doesn't have to be communication. With time, people understand. So I think I don't have to connect with everyone and explain them. So that's what I thought. Hey, let me work hard. In a couple of years, people will see that, hey, it's working out and he was right. So I think sometimes you have to just put your time and energy and then leave it, and then it'll happen.
Got it. So focus on what you want and continue there and let people see the
Yeah,
results.
yeah. I think
Excellent.
that's the
Yeah.
best way.
Yeah, and I'm also hearing trust yourself, trust your instinct, believe in yourself, and be able to stand up to, the backlash that you're getting and
Yeah.
just take it, just have the ability to take it and not let it go down with you. And so let's say there's somebody else that, you meet another man that I think there's many men out there right now in the Desi culture who face that. They feel a passion somewhere else, but what are they supposed to do where family says, society says, you got to do this? What would your advice be to that person in that cusp of feeling like they are not belonging in that expectation?
Um, I've spoken to a lot of people after this, and once you are out there and things are happening and people see it, you are successful. Um, I've spoken to a lot of people, not only from our culture, other cultures as well, because I do a lot of networking events. Um, the important thing I tell people is for anything, you have to prepare yourself, right? See, not everybody can take a leap going full time in any position, right? For example, I jumped in, but not everybody can do it. But thankfully, being a financial background, I was ready. I prepared myself. So I tell people if a lot of times you may not be explain it to your family, as I just said. You have to show them. So if it's okay to start part-time, right? If you can do full-time, then you do full-time. But then in either situation, you have to start preparing first. You cannot just do it, okay, I'm starting it now. So I always help them understand if you want to do it, let's say next year, start preparing now. Like you need to have some funds, right? Financially stable. Secondly, you have to be emotionally ready. So I think you need to have a mindset, right? It's your and mindset is it's your mind has to be set in certain belief or in a certain way that I have to do it. This is my passion. I want to go for it. So as I said, it's just you have to help them understand that prepare yourself in emotionally, financially, strategically, and then also close to you, start involving people. Like involved my wife, right? And then involved my siblings, then parents. Depending, like you have to be a little smart about it. If you just tell everyone I'm doing this, it might be a shock and might come as a backlash, as you said. But I think you have to start it slowly and start informing everyone. But depending on the person, I think advice can be different. Um, but I would love to help people. I love to talk to them. Currently, even I meet other professions, I help them, I give them ideas, suggestion as much as I can. Because end of the day, I think life is short. I think it's good to connect with people like we connected. I mean, I know Rabia for so long, but we have stayed in touch and now we are doing this. So it's always good to connect, help people. Sometimes we have questions, answer them, take time out, even though everyone is busy in life nowadays. So yeah, that's what I.
That's so brilliant because what I'm hearing is transition, like that preparation is not going in with your eyes closed and being shocked with
Yeah,
things that
yeah,
are, and so being very strategic about it, creating a transition phase where point A to point B with a lot of growth mindset, with a lot of learning, understanding, and then actually coming into this place where you're financially, emotionally, and mentally ready. And you have the mindset to be able to move forward. So you segued right into the next piece of conversation, which is becoming confident,
yeah,
right? And secure about where you're going versus being scared or living in
yeah.
fear. Oh my God, what if it doesn't happen? So, what is this mindset that you're talking about? And, positivity and healing. How does all of that, like emotionally ready, is something in terms of it's two emotionally ready is two words, but what does that mean? What does mindset mean? And how did you sort of transition into this mindset and state? So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. As I said, mindset says itself. Its mind has to be set in certain way, right? So it is a belief that you have to have that this will work, right? Back of your head. Of course, we are human beings. There will be little bit of fear. There will be some nervousness. It's not easy to do, stand on your own feet. When job, as I said, salary comes every 2 weeks, it's amazing. It's coming, you are a breadwinner, life is good, you are paying your bills, everything is good. But when it's self-employed, you have to have that mindset, again, a belief that it will work. As long as it's back of your head, you will move forward, right? And then moving forward, again, I heard somebody saying long time ago that there are days, there are certain time or a minute, you have to sometimes force yourself to be positive. You cannot, anything negative, you have to run away at that point. You cannot stay with negative people. You cannot stay with any negative environment. So you have to surround yourself with positivity, right? You have to read books. You have to listen to podcasts like this one. You have to be very, very effective in everything you do. You also have to be busy. You cannot, doesn't matter your business or not, stay busy, have a plan. As I said, there's early preparation and then there is plan while you are in the business that every day this is what I'm doing. Like my phone still has a plan from 8 in the morning or sorry, 5 in the morning. I wake up, I meditate, what I do all the way till 8 o'clock in the evening, right? So if I have a plan, I just follow that plan. I don't have room of thinking where I become, bored or negative. So I think very important that first you set the mindset, then you have this plan that this is how I'm going to execute it. Stay positive, stay self-motivated. There will be days that will come that you're like, what the hell am I doing? But I think that's where it's very important that plan, you stay on the course, and slowly small milestones come, then bigger, and then so forth. But every milestone, you should pat on the back, celebrate. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but celebrate with your family. And first few months will be hard, then it gets little better, then little better, but things will happen and you will see it. But the mindset, that belief in the beginning is important that I have to do it. It might take a month, it might take a year, 2 years, and then everything will follow as it move forward.
Wow, that was awesome, Awais. All of those that advice, I mean, that was really, really beautiful. You said set your mindset. It's sort of like creating
Yeah,
that mindset, creating a new mindset from what you were raised up to believe.
yeah,
A new plan, not the plan of job, 9 to 5, get your paycheck twice a weekly, new plan, and then new goals that come with it, and then persist. That's what
yeah,
you said, do it again and again and again. And so I just wanted to kind of underline that part. I think that was some awesome advice that we don't really get to see in our Desi culture.
yeah,
Nobody's teaching these things, nobody's talking about these things. So that's very important to go out and find them, like the
yeah,
podcast and read the book, like do it yourself, learn, like build yourself up.
yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you so much. I,
Mm.
I, I love that. And you talked about, I heard you say a little bit about how you're talking to people and you're networking and you're like sharing your life experiences and what you have learned and all this. So can you
Yeah.
speak to a little bit about that, what you're doing and how you're doing it and what is the purpose of doing that?
As I said earlier, see, to stay positive, you have to surround yourself with other people, right? So there are young entrepreneurs, there are senior entrepreneurs. The reason for networking is, I think, connect with like-minded people. So once you meet with, so we started recently, I think Rabia knows that once a month I am back to, networking events we are doing. And a lot of my old people who have disconnected, I'm calling everyone, right? So we are connecting again. We are talking about a lot of new ideas, the new passion, what they are doing, I'm doing. And then, it's a synergy. You find some things where you can connect with each other. So network is one way I connect with other people. I help them, they help me. We stay positive. At the same time, always have some sort of mastermind. Through these networkings, I have set of people that I connected with. Sometimes if I'm, bored or sometimes I'm going down, I will call that person. Like I know this person I call, they'll push me up. So that is another thing through this networking or through previous groups we had, we have these set of people that I call, and then we lift each other up, right? Um, Other than that, as you said, the podcast, book, like I highly recommend Spotify or anything like that app. You have it. Like at one point, I went crazy. I listened to so many books and podcasts that I was like, oh my God, it's so much in my head. So I think at that point you have to put a little bit music to get away from them. But but I think it's very important that you stay on the course, and these books will help you. Podcasts will help you stay the course. But coming to your question, the networking, the mastermind help me to connect with people. Then I have to give back to them, right? So that's what I'm doing, giving back to people, talking to them, sharing my ideas. When you do this, the beauty is it'll come back to you. People will give you ideas for your business. People will share suggestions. People will share, hey, why don't we do this? So that's how things start, and it helped everyone. Yeah.
Right. And so if I could bottom line what you just said is that find a community that's supportive, that helps you to be a better version of you, stays on,
Yeah.
keeps you on track.
Yeah.
Whereas the negativity that you spoke about earlier, when you surround yourself with people that are constantly saying why it can't happen, the likelihood is they will convince you if you stay there long enough. So you've
Yeah,
got to find
definitely.
that support.
Yeah.
Yeah. So supportive network, and you're doing that by creating these spaces for people
Yeah.
to connect, and so that's
Yeah.
incredible. And
Yeah.
then find that encouragement, right? We want to be encouraged. Yes, you can do it. Believing in yourself, and then having, you only need one person to believe in you to truly succeed, and you had that with your wife. So she
Yeah.
supported you, and that's all you really need. You can find one, but if you can find more, that's even better. So that's
Definitely.
really, and then staying motivated, reading the books, listening to those podcasts, or finding that YouTube video that really inspires you. So staying motivated. So I just wanted to highlight those three things, because
Yeah.
anybody who's the three of us, I'm sure can relate to this. It's not always easy, but
Yeah.
continue to show up. It becomes worth it, and we realize our goals.
Yeah.
So that's
Definitely.
amazing. Yeah. Did you want to add something, or were you good? And would you like to? Because I also wanted to pin. Sorry, Sana, did you want to add something? Yeah.
No, no, I didn't want to add to that. I wanted to ask something else. If so, I just wanted to ask that, okay, I think this whole concept, right, can easily apply to other situations in life. Like we talked about finance, we talked about career, how you switched your career over. Has this translated into other aspects of your life?
Um, Honestly speaking, any entrepreneur who's listening, they know it transforms you completely. Um, Being in a job and being an entrepreneur is totally different. When you are in a job, I'm always positive. Even job is good. I think the stereotype we have is getting educated and going to job, and that's it. But I think once you become entrepreneur, I also learned that even in your job, you are self-employed. Nobody told me that. So I think it's the way you see things is very important. But all these things came to me when I become entrepreneur, right? Um, that's when you start, I think you start to find yourself. Like who is Awais? Like how can Awais be successful? How can Awais stand up on his own feet? Right? How can I generate business? Like if I'm doing it for somebody else, why can't I do it for myself? So the amazing thing happened when I become in real estate, and in the initial stage, as I said, there is a little bit fear, even though I'm very positive, self-motivated guy. So I met and I recommended this guy at Lexus, Aaron Park, and he told me his story when he's a new immigrant, came and joined in a sales force, and he's selling these cars. And in the beginning, he's like, I couldn't sell it always. Then one day I'm on 401 highway, and I'm in a car and I see all these cars. It's like all busy. And he's like, there's so many cars in Canada and I cannot even sell one. So it was that barrier that he broke. And I was like, wow. So in the morning, if I go for a walk and I look at all these homes, and the simple question is, can you not sell one? And see, this is how energy comes from other people, ideas come from other people. And I just told him I just started real estate, and he's giving me his idea, or he's giving me that energy back. Hey, this is what I thought. And next day I sold it. And this is what I tell always people. If you become mortgage broker, you become a coach or anything, Can you not help one person? We can, right? So now coming back to your question, why I'm explaining these things is as an entrepreneur, it helps you in your life as well. Because if you can change your mindset and create a discipline in your schedule, similar thing happens with your family, with your wife, with your kids. You start teaching them new things. Like number one thing I teach my kids, don't be like this. You have to be like this. You cannot be, I have to get out there, get a job. No, like I tell them now, you need to think big. You need to think differently, right? Create a discipline for them in their daily schedule. They have to understand why it is important, right? Same thing with my wife. Like we do a lot of different things, which in the beginning, honestly speaking, with my job, I only had 2 hours with my family in a day. I wake up early, I do my things, I get out there at like 7:30. I come back at 7 o'clock. Then I've only at and I sleep early. Right? So 9:30, I'm in the bed. So I have only 1 or 2 hours with family or parents or anyone, which is not enough, right? But now, like I am there. If I don't go, I'm working from home in the evening. Like I take a couple of hours off in the afternoon, have lunch with them or pick up my kids. I used to be the only, I would say, only dad at bus stop dropping my kids. But trust me, your kids are so happy that finally my dad is dropping me after like 3 years, 5 years. So I think these are the changes come in your life and you enjoy them, you embrace them that, wow, I can do these things, right? So I think it changes your whole dynamic when you become entrepreneur. And you get to see the world differently. You get to meet different people. You get to see different opportunities. Even in real estate, it's not just buy, sell home. There are so many things you can do. And I tell people, like, when you get into it, this is what you can do. It's not just buy, sell home, right? So, yeah.
Right. And, it's just wanted to highlight that what I heard from you is relationships,
Yeah,
building those relationships, spending time with your kids, spending time with your clients. I'm just saying that how these two worlds can come together. So you spending time with people changes how they interact with you. You make people,
yeah.
and it's sorry, can you not hear me?
No, no, I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay.
I just wanted to
No.
add something, but go ahead.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Go ahead.
No, no, and,
Back
and
to
the
you.
one thing I wanted to say, I think you finally get some time to rethink things you do, and then that time opens up all these things for you, right? With job, I think you are very busy. You're just busy, and then you get Saturday, Sunday. It's supposed to be a weekend, and you're busy doing something at home, grocery, this, that. But I think with being entrepreneur, I think it opens up a lot of doors for you to rethink everything you do, right? So just wanted to add.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Sana.
and I wanted to add that we are also sort of living in that autopilot,
Yeah,
that what the culture and what the society has expected of us, we're just living that path. And so
yeah,
doing what you believe in, doing your passion, following your passion, it's like it's taking charge. It's not
yeah,
living somebody else's life, but your
yeah,
own, very
yeah,
own life.
yeah,
So that's what I'm hearing. And I think that's so important for us, Stacey's, especially
yeah,
because we just like born do this, do that, and not just in career. I think in so many different places we
so
are.
many different things.
Yeah.
And I love the
So
fact that
go ahead, Rabia.
sorry, and I also
Uh,
love the fact that you said about reflecting, right?
yeah,
Not just doing, keeping busy, but just that one piece of reflecting about
yeah,
who am I?
yeah,
What do I really want? Do I want to just work, 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 or do I want time with my family as well? So just
yeah,
having that reflection and getting aligned to what you truly want. I think I just wanted to also, I think the messages that you're sending are so important. And
yeah.
I'm sure many, many people are going to receive and benefit from them. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny thing, and it's like they asked my son in the school, like, like they were asking everybody, what does your dad do? And my son said he does nothing because I'm like home. I go for meetings or like in the initial stage, this is long time ago, but like I was laughing because I'm there every day, right? And I love it. I have meetings, I'll go, or evenings, I'll go. for meetings, or weekend, I'm busy, sometimes showings and everything. But compared to job, I'm more with my family than I was before. So that's just I wanted to share.
That's awesome. So, Awais, as we narrow down, what do you think is your advice to men in general in the Desi culture, for how to navigate these situations, and how we as a community, like women, and every one of us, each of one of us being a part of our society, contribute to moving the dial for our Desi culture, get the pressure off of men, I feel like, for finance responsibility, but other responsibilities as well that we have in our Desi culture. How can we move forward doing this, and what would your advice be to other men?
Honestly, it's a tough question.
Yeah.
Because when something happens and we are, let's say we call it stereotype for so long, it's not easy to break it. Um, I think the biggest thing we can do is education. I think being in Canada, it's a little different than being in back home. Doesn't matter, like our South Asia as a whole, doesn't matter, it's Pakistan, India, Bangladesh. Still, I think a lot of people are staying away from being educating, whether it's if it's our society, hey, male has to get educated and they have to take the burden, or they have to be breadwinner, then deficiency comes towards your siblings. If they are female, then it's okay for them to, because they'll just go home and, just run the family, have kids, and etc., etc. So I think number one thing is education. Both men and female have to be educated. It's very important, right? Um, and once you grow up, you fit education, I think both are able to work, male or female, right? Both can take responsibility. I'm not saying male doesn't have to be breadwinner, but I think both have to take responsibilities. Both need to have communication. I think communication is very important, especially once you get married. Communication has to be important, how things have to be done, how we have to run our home, right? If both are working, how things have to be done, right? Especially if you think about kids and etc., etc. Remember, there will be a lot of pressure from, our culture, family, parents, do this, why are you doing this? But I think coming to your question, number one, education, very important. We have to educate. I believe female is more important because, they are mother, they are sister, they are friend, they are wife, and their role is quite hard. It's not easy. Men, yes, there's a lot of pressure, but you get a job and you just become a breadwinner, right? So I feel both sides, education is important, communication is important, and that how we can do things properly, help each other, become a family that supports each other rather than you put a pressure on male or female. Number three, I think it's also very important in our society that what I was trying to say is like we benefited of traveling more, getting out there, right? A lot of times we are stuck in our cities or in our areas. I think a little bit getting out there. I know a lot of youngsters now I see in, let's say, I'm from Pakistan, they are getting out there, right? Some people I heard that, like a girl I know, she went to even China to get education. So that I was so happy that people are getting out there. They are not stuck to their own cities only or their communities. I think that also gives you a new perspective. You get to meet new people, new cultures. And we are lucky to come to Canada. There's so many multicultural people. And you get to meet them. You get to see their. So I think traveling, getting out there, meeting new people, learning new cultures is very important. I think in old days, because we were stuck in this our own cocoon, it was very hard. So I think those are a few things I think we do. It'll help us a lot, So
Yeah, I think those are some really important things. Thank you for sharing, Awais. I feel like these things, if we really start to do this, it will help to change and reinvent the gender roles that we have created in our culture, and that's like something we are stick to so much. And so being more flexible with that, it can really teach us. You're right, I think traveling is so important. Like you really get to see something different. And then from what I see a lot of times in our culture, I meet people who haven't even left our place, and sometimes they see like my aunt, like she would see a dog and she'd be like, oh my God, why is that person has a dog in their lap? And I'm like, just that tiny thing is so weird to her because she's
Yeah.
never seen it, you know, like you just see
Yeah.
what you see on a daily basis, and then the mind is like just thinks that's what's reality. So thank you so much for sharing that, Awais.
Yeah, one other thing I'll add is I think even in our culture, we are trying to date. I think marriages are only happening in one culture, or like if we speak certain language, it'll be in. I think we need to open up, right? We need to respect that languages are there. Yeah, we are from different backgrounds, but I think we need to open up, connect with other people.
Yeah.
In terms of
Oh, you
especially
just
marriage
opened up a
relationship.
whole
Yeah.
can of worms there with that one.
Sorry, it's just
Right.
something I see and I just hate it. I think, and it's sad to see. And recently I've seen it that a boy liked a girl, but because they are from this culture and this culture, I won't say then, this, they speak certain language and they know, like they didn't do it. And it was so sad, right? But I think
Right.
connecting those two families would help a lot. So, and
Well,
that will change the perspective. Yeah.
so true. And in my family, we had a dinner last night. My son, we're Muslims, Pakistani Muslims, and my son met a Sikh girl, and they are now married. And so we had a family. So it takes it. There is a huge transition. You talked about preparation and transition earlier. We
Yeah.
started off the show.
Yeah.
There is a huge process of when we shift our perspectives and we enter a new territory and embrace different things, a new
Mm.
way to think, a new way to live, a new way to do things. There is a whole process
Yeah.
that follows. But but to start that process is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And never imagined in a million years that my mother would have a dinner at her home
Yeah.
to invite these two families together. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the possibilities are endless
Endless. Yeah.
by taking the advice that you're sharing, you know, try something new, follow your heart, believe in yourself.
Mm.
And I want to transition this into paying it forward, sharing your story,
Yeah.
sharing your challenges, doing things that will not only help you, but the whole society. And traditions are great. Our
Yeah.
food, the way we eat, our family gatherings, they're great. But sometimes in things like not meeting people from other cultures, those
Yeah.
traditions can actually be of detriment. And the absence of growth is follow your tradition. There's no
Yeah.
growth in tradition
Yeah.
following. So just
And it's
shifting.
not easy. Sorry, yeah,
Oh,
sorry to cut you off, but it's not easy. I just want to put that out there. Yeah, it's not easy to do these things. However, if we do not try, if we do not, break these norms, it's hard. Then, for generations that they'll be stuck in the same silo, which doesn't help, right? But if you try, get to know, like for example, a lot of people, it was hard to come to Canada, but now, I mean, if you look around, a lot of people are living with so many cultures, enjoying different food, meeting so many different people. Our kids, they have friends from every culture. I have friends from every community, Sikh, Christian, any community you go, like you have so many friends, but you enjoy their, time, you enjoy their company, and it can happen. It's easy, but I think sometimes it's inside you that is stopping you to do that.
oh, so true. And it's not an easy journey, it's a worth it journey. That's because
Definitely.
things that are worth it are never easy. So
Yeah.
I always say that it's a worth it journey. And taking that first step is the hardest. And then the rest just is a trickle effect.
Yeah.
So I just wanted
Definitely.
to add that as well. So paying it forward, which you've been doing in so many ways, I think from the day I think it was 2012, 2013, something like that, that I was at a meetup where you were.
Yeah.
And in fact, you were hosting, and I think it was at the Trump Plaza or the Trump Tower or the
Yeah.
Trump Hotel. For
Trump.
some reason, I have that vivid memory. And so you've been paying it forward for a long time.
Yeah.
How do you today, from all your life experiences, how would you sum up 3 lessons to someone who identifies as a misfit? What are your 3 key lessons you want to pay forward today?
Again, a tough question.
Mhm.
See, number one, I always feel you cannot be stuck where you are, right? As I said, you cannot be like this. My teacher used to tell me, you have to be like this. So that's the number one lesson. If people are telling you cannot do it, you can do it, definitely, right? As I said, when 98% people told me you cannot do it, I took it as a yes, that it will happen, because 98% are telling me that's wrong. So number one lesson, I think, don't be like this, be like this. Open up your horizons, get out there, learn, educate yourself. If you want to do something, educate yourself on that particular topic. Meet people who are expert in it. So then you can make an informed decision. You cannot just be like this, right? Um, Number two, I think I've been bold from the beginning. I think you need to be bold, right? Don't have a fear here that you cannot do it. And that's why you need to get out there and just do it, right? So, because the culture we come from, as you know, I used to have a lot of fear. So I started I'm a lot in sports, right? I've done skydiving, I've done paragliding. I recently did world's longest zip line. So that, uh, I mean, brings audacity in me and that fear out that I can do anything I want, right? But that's me. I think for the second lesson, I think just do it, be bold, try it. I always say, what is the worst will happen? I'll go back to a job, right? That is the worst will happen, that I quit my business and go to a job. So I think the important question is, what is the worst will happen? Um, Number three, I think the most important lesson, I think, surround yourself with good people, positive people, successful people. It's very important. And a lot of times we take advice from people where we shouldn't be taking. Like if I'm looking into entrepreneurship, why am I going to people who are in a job, right? If they are salaried positions, doesn't matter, it's your dad, it's your uncle, it's your family friend, doesn't matter they are CEO, but they are salaried. They are not entrepreneur, right? Very important that you connect with right people, connect with right mindset people, and that'll take a long way, right? So I think these three things have helped me a lot. Yeah, so
I love that. Thank you so much, Awais. That was really beautiful advice. So it was really awesome having you. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you do for
yeah.
others, and thank you for sharing your experience. Is there anything else that you feel like you wanted to say and we didn't get to, or anything else that you would like to cover?
No, I think we had a great conversation. Definitely thank you to Rabia for connecting me and bringing me here, and nice meeting you as well today. You guys are doing amazing job
Yeah.
connecting with people, breaking these norms, asking these important questions. And I wish people can subscribe more, like your videos, share them, especially. That is very important, because I tell people, if one thing we can add or one learning people can get from this whole 1 hour, that is more than enough. And then we have done our job, because the goal was today to just come out here and talk about these things, talk about ourselves and share the experience, right? Everybody comes from different journey, but I tell people, connect, share the love, and then make it happen, make it work. Right? So that's the motto.
Right. That's a lot of good advice,
Yeah.
and thank you so much for your time with us today.
Yeah.
It was really lovely learning about what you've done over the years, how you've paid it forward,
Yeah.
the small changes that you've made, And, our listeners are definitely going to benefit. So thank you so much for being with us today. So
Yeah.
it's that time of our episode, Sana.
We're two Daisy girls
Reinventing cultural norms with
with
love.
love. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Please rate, subscribe, and review wherever you listen to podcasts, and follow the Rabia and Sana Show on social medias.
Remember, you can watch the video version on YouTube, and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe.
If you want life coaching services, or you are reinventing cultural norms for yourself and think you would be a great guest and want to be on our show, please email contact@therabiaandsanashow.com.
And be sure to check out our next episode. See you next time.
See you next time.